Welcome to episode 4 of On the Shelf. I am your fantastical, magical host, Mike. With me today is Sam J. Rizzo, who is the curator of Superboy the Legacy. Sam, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great, Mike. Thank you for having me on. This is awesome.
Thanks for coming. Sorry, just hydrating today. It's been a rough couple of hot days here in New York, so we are trying to stay hydrated the best we can. And hopefully, even when people are watching this, they are still staying hydrated. That is the fun fact of the day. So, Sam, tell these folks at home who are listening a little bit about yourself and what you are about.
Well, I mean, most of everybody knows I'm really into the Adventures of Superboy series from the 80s and early 90s that
Okay.
starred Gerard Christopher as the Boy of Steel and the
hmm
beautiful Stacy Hajduk as Lana Lang. I mean, who didn't have a crush on her back in the day?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
But for the last 15 years, over 15 years, I've had multiple websites. I had Superboy homepage up until I want to say like 2010.
Okay.
And then just recently I rebranded everything Superboy Legacy. I just launched a couple weeks ago superboylegacy.com, which it was like took me about a year to develop.
Okay.
Rebranded all my social media pages Superboy Legacy, and it's just been taking off ever since. So
That's fantastic, dude. So I'm always happy to hear that, and it's always good to shine a spotlight on franchises or areas of the DC universe which haven't really gotten as much attention as some normally do. Batman.
yeah,
Sorry,
Pam.
just a cough. Sorry. So, all right, you've been doing this for a while. So, how did you get into the whole Superboy, genre, the whole world of the Boy of Steel, as you said?
Well, when I was 6 years old, it was the summer of '89, and
Okay.
we all know that summer, the summer of Batman. But for me, it was the summer of discovering Superboy the television series, and
Okay.
it was on a Saturday at 4 o'clock, and my father turned on the television, and it was on channel 50, which at the time was WPWR here in Chicago, which
Okay.
they called the Power Station, and they had a block of programming that started at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon that went to 6. So they had My Secret Identity in the lineup.
Jerry, I
Remember
remember that
that
one with Jerry
with
O'Connell.
Jerry O'Connell,
Oh,
Dracula the series,
okay.
which was really good. Um, Swamp Thing,
Very good.
Super Force, that was on there. Superboy, and then Star Trek: The Next Generation. So as a kid, I was hooked on that channel.
Magical.
So, so yeah, my father turned on the television at 4 o'clock, and the first episode I ever saw of Superboy that got me into the world of the Boy of Steel was Bizarro the Thing of Steel with Barry Myers as Bizarro. So I was kind of late to the party, you know.
Oh,
So, but being 6 years old and the first scene is Superboy walking into Professor Peterson's lab in the thunderstorm with his hands on his hips, going, Professor. And he turns around, oh, you startled me, Superboy. And it was just so cool because it was right later on. I discovered the Silver Age comics. My dad would
right.
go and buy me all the Silver Age comics. And one of those was the first appearance of Bizarro. And that whole first scene of Superboy getting hit by the duplication ray is right out of the comics. So
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's always good to see when writers and everything, and even actors, are fans of the source material. I mean,
oh yeah,
Marvel's had a lot of success with that. Where, you know, I mean, John Favreau is a giant fanboy, which is awesome. So it's good to see that. I know Gerard Christopher was a huge Superman fan. If I'm correct,
yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong. But
yeah,
it's great to see stuff like that. So, all right. So
yeah. He,
now you
mhm,
are 6 years old. You
yeah.
have now discovered Superboy. Where do you go from there?
So from there, the show I was as a kid, I learned how to work the VCR. So I would record every single episode. I still have most of my original VHS tapes,
Wow.
and ever since then, like I would tape trade with people back in the late 90s, early 2000s with people online. just to complete my collection. It was funny because in the mid 90s in 1995 here in Chicago, Fox 32, one of our local affiliates, Fox stations, aired all 100 episodes of Superboy again. And they couldn't because Warner Brothers and the Salkinds had a legal lien placed on the series. You couldn't re-show the series. You couldn't distribute it on home video or DVD. So the series basically sat in limbo up until Fox here in Chicago airing them again. And that's when I found out about John Hames Newton, because I had no idea that another actor played Superboy. Right. So I thought they were bringing this... Right, I thought they were bringing the series back in some capacity. I was like, oh my God, Superboy's back. This is so cool. I was freaking out. I was like, this is... And the first episode I saw with John Hames Newton was Kryptonite Kills, which was written by Andy Helfer and Mike Carlin. There was a number of DC comic writers that worked on that show. But we love Mike. Mike is Team Superboy all the way.
And Team Lois and Clark and Team everything else. So big love to Mike Clark. Mike Carlin. He actually had gotten me many moons ago a Baldy. Remember back in the day? Do you remember the whole Baldy awards that they used to do in the back of the Superman comics?
No.
If you and I talked about this in my episode 1, but when they there were certain times that they'd ask like questions and stuff when DC used to have their the last page used to be like, the write-ins and the letters and stuff from the fans.
Right.
And so I actually won one of the contests, and I never got the Baldy. So then, the advent of Facebook and everything being what it is, lo and behold, Mike Carlin is now on Facebook. So I actually reached out to him, and I was like, and Mike is cool as hell. I met him at a convention with John Bogdanoff and his son, when one of the first years the New York Comic Con was around. And so I reached out to Mike, and I'm like, Mike, I want a Baldy. Here's the issue that it was in. He's like, I still have some of them, and it was a postcard. It's a postcard with Lex Luthor on it, but like,
oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Fanboy stuff. So I'm sorry, Mike. Just as we talk about the glory that is Mike Carlin.
Well, it's funny because they had in the tie-in Superboy comics that went along with the TV show. They had you could actually write in to the production offices, and they publish your letters in the back of those comics. And I think there was 22 issues of that Superboy tie-in, and it was really, really good. And I can't wait to go back and do deep dives reading those again for the new Superboy Legacy podcast, which I'm producing right now. So it's a blast.
Good plug.
It's so much.
Good plug.
Thank you. Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
I actually remember some of the covers. I remember even the covers for those Superboy comics, and they were also very well drawn, which obviously I'm a fan of. They really did a good likeness of like, Gerard and Stacy and everything, which was cool.
Yeah, Jerry. What is it? Kevin Maguire worked on it. Ty Templeton. Trying to think who else. Like Kurt Swan did a couple things with that. It was just great. It was a great comic. So, but yeah, how do you like the cape behind me? That's one of the original capes from Gerard Christopher. Isn't that awesome?
Fantastic. You know what? I even think that Henry Cavill with himself, who you're kind of obscuring, wouldn't mind.
Sorry,
Henry. I know you're not watching, but we're sorry.
Sorry, Henry. We hope you come back and play Superman. We really do.
Okay, so. You now have, and again, I love the ambiance lighting that is going on currently.
Thanks. Sorry.
In the Rizzo household. No, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But you have any other accoutrements, collectibles, or memorabilia that you would like to share with the class?
Oh, sure. It's show and tell day. I love this.
It is show and tell.
You know what? Let's build up to the bigger stuff. The first thing I ever received, the first thing I ever acquired in my collection, was the September 1992 Epilogue magazine, and that was a Christmas gift from my father. So it's very sentimental. Here it is, right here. Sorry for the lighting, guys.
No, that is okay, but bro, that is in great shape.
I really take care of my stuff. I really do, because
you're supposed to.
I know. It's just, I mean, with anything from Superboy, it is very, very rare, like anything from the show, because they didn't really make a lot of stuff from the
No,
series.
they
You know,
didn't. No.
there was no posters. There was very little marketing with the series. Like if
No.
you caught it on television in its first run, you saw it. I can't tell you the number of times I've gone to a convention or even the Superman celebration, which Mike, going there,
I
it's
do. I
Superman
do.
Mecca. It's
It
Superman
is.
Mecca. But to go there, and the last time I was there was 2018, and it
Mhm.
was the 30th anniversary of season one.
Mhm.
John Hames Newton was there. We did a screening of the first three episodes, the three episodes of the Alien Solution, the Revenge of the Alien parts 1 and 2. And Jim Bowers from Cape Wonder was nice enough. He cut those episodes together to make a 1 hour movie. Love you, Jim.
Oh, that Jim.
So we had a screening in the little courtroom there in Metropolis. It was hotter than hell, but we packed it. There was
Yeah.
about 40, 50 people in that little courtroom. I did a little intro for those episodes, and we showed the episodes. And by the end of watching those 3 episodes with the audience, people got up and cheered by the end of it. And
That's
the
awesome.
people stood up and applauded, and they said, "Is there any more of these? How can we see these?" I had a couple season 1 DVDs that I gave away for free to some fans, some lucky
Okay.
fans there. But they all loved it. That was
That's
the
awesome.
second time we brought some episodes down there. The first time we showed The Road to Hell, and Tracy Roberts, who played Darla,
Yep.
was at the Superman
I
celebration.
remember. I
And
remember she was there.
yeah, we did a screening in Artist Alley. Artist Alley was packed. People loved it, and it
Awesome.
was just so cool to watch those episodes with a number of Superboy fans, and just they cheered at the right time. They got up and applauded at the end, and it was just so gratifying. It was so
Love it.
cool.
It's like vindication for the lack of syndication.
Exactly. And to have people come up to you and go, "Sam, I've never seen this show. I'm really interested. How can I see it?" Well, after fighting long and hard with Warner Brothers to release the last 3 seasons, in 2006, they released season 1. And then 3 years later, they released season 2. It has to be the longest gap in between releases. But I have to thank Warner Archive and those guys there, my buddies there, for releasing the last 3 seasons, because they didn't have any money to do it.
Yeah.
But they picked the best looking episodes. Each episode they had multiple copies of, and they
And
picked the
they,
best looking ones for the DVD. But it would have been nice to see some extra features on there. So I have a
Of
ton of
course.
stuff. Ton of stuff. I can't even tell you.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. You think the cape is the only thing? No, there's more.
Really? I had no idea. No
Okay.
idea that you had more stuff. So, all right. So,
Uh-huh.
the DVDs,
Yeah.
the program that your father had gotten you.
Yeah.
What else you got?
What else do I have?
What else you got,
Okay.
bro?
What else do I have? So just recently, one of the prop masters messaged me that he had a bunch of stuff sitting in his garage. This was one of the things that was sitting in his garage. It's a pendant that they made in the prop house there for the Schuster University. It was in multiple episodes. I can't pinpoint which episode, but they handmade it, and they stamped it with the Schuster University stamp. So here it is.
That's awesome. And it was just Joe Schuster's birthday not too long ago. I think yesterday,
Yeah.
day before.
Yeah.
But when we're
It's
recording
crazy.
this, people are watching this now,
When-
and they'll be like, "No,
when we're
that was
recording
not.
this.
That was weeks ago. Stupid." Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, this was another thing he found that I found in the box that he said to me, "Sam, I don't know what's in this box, but I'm just sending you what I have." So I freaked out when he said, "Sam, I have a pair of Clark Kent glasses." I go, "Do you know what actor wore these glasses?" He's like, "No, Sam. You probably know." So these are John Hames Newton's original season 1 glasses. So yeah, just amazing. Sorry for the glare, everybody, but
They'll live.
yeah,
It's okay.
yeah.
It's neat stuff.
So that's one thing. I also recently, well, not recently, but in the last 2 years, managed to come into a collection from Gerard Christopher, Superboy himself, from seasons 2, 3, and 4. He managed, he wanted to get rid of some stuff, so we talked about it back and forth for like 2 years. He originally wanted to sell it all off in a auction house, so we talked to Profiles in History, we talked to Darren Julian, and he just didn't, it just didn't vibe right with him. He didn't want to, sell everything into a collection, into an auction house and, pay the auction house 20%.
Bro, it's always good when it goes to people who appreciate it. So,
right.
Otherwise you have to pull some Ocean's 11 stuff and start,
Right. Well, you know what? I gave him an offer, and it was a very fair offer. And I said to him, I go, dude, like, give it to somebody that will appreciate it and will respect it and take care of it. Yeah. The offer was out there. So a year went by, and then our good buddy Jim Bowers talked to Gerard. Jim's great, I gotta give him a lot of credit.
Hey, listen, Jim is great, but who got on the show before Jim?
I did.
That guy right there. Or I guess right there, because
right,
YouTube and stuff. Right. We're gonna point this way.
But yeah, so for about a year, let me get back to my story. For about a year, we went back and forth. Like, do you want to sell it? Do you not want to sell it? Do you want to sell it to an auction house? Mm-hmm. So Jim talked to him one night, and Jim was like, Sam really wants this stuff, and he loves this show, and he's done so much to create awareness with the series. At the time, I had superboyhomepage.com, and just, even that site blew up. I was doing podcasts and different stuff. We did a petition writing to Warner Brothers Home Video. Like, you name it, we did it.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it was great. But, Jim said to Gerard, like, you really should sell it to Sam. So a year went by, and on his birthday, May 11th, 2018, we struck a deal. And he's like, Sam, I'm so glad it's going to you, because there was somebody else, one of his cousins really wanted to buy the collection sight unseen. And he's like, you know what, Sam, I'm going to sell it to you because it's just right.
Awesome.
So, one of the things in his collection, he kept his Clark Kent glasses. He had 2 sets of Clark Kent glasses. This is one of the sets right here.
Nice.
Yeah. It's just awesome. And he took care of everything from that show. He is a diehard Superman fan. He loves the George Reeves series.
Okay, so that's his Superman? That's his favorite?
George Reeves was his Superman growing up, yes. And it's so funny because Noel Neill and Jack Larson were in an episode of season 3 of Superboy called Paranoia. And Noel Neill was on the set, and she said to Gerard, when Gerard showed up in the Superboy costume, Noel pulls him aside and says, "You're my favorite. You're my favorite." And he said to me, Sam, I will never forget that. Mm-hmm. When we were at the Superman celebration in 2012, and Noel came out just to see him, just to see Gerard.
That's awesome.
She loved him. So
that's cool.
But yeah,
that's awesome.
Let's see, what else can I show you out of my collection? These are really cool. These are original bureau badges from seasons 3 and 4. This is Matt Ritter. His badge.
Yep.
This is Clark's. This was Gerard's original bureau badge. Isn't that cool? Very cool.
There he is.
And then this was a badge on one of the posters. He gave me like 30 posters. It says on the top of the poster, it says, the government doesn't know who they have working for them. And this is on the poster. This was the original bureau badge that they used.
Oh, yeah.
That's a season 2 image. Isn't that really cool?
That's awesome.
Sorry for the glare, everybody.
They'll live.
Gotta get better lighting.
It's okay. It's all right. It's a work in progress, Sam. It's a work in progress. Okay.
I know. Well, this was another badge that was used to get onto the lot with the S symbol. Isn't that really cool?
Oh, it's expired.
It's expired. 1991.
Yeah. How old was everybody in 1991? Take a guess.
Oh, God.
I'm not going to guess. Nope.
let's not date ourselves.
We're not going there.
Uh,
Everyone already knows I'm old.
let's see. These were pretty cool. These were sunglasses that he wore in the episode The Haunting of Andy McAllister in season 2. These were sunglasses that he wore in the car. Isn't that cool?
Awesome. Love it. A lot of glasses,
Yeah.
bro.
A lot of glasses. He kept everything. I have all his Clark Kent wardrobe he gave me. I have so many shoes that he wore as Clark Kent. Geez, I don't know how many Superboy suits I have now. I've lost count. I think I have 5. I have 5 Superboy suits now.
You have 5 Superboy suits.
Yeah. I went
How
from
the hell
not
did you get 5 Superboy suits?
I have let's see. I have the Sovereign suit that was in Gerard's collection, the full
I like that
suit.
one.
I think the only thing that didn't
I've seen the pictures of that one.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that we mentioned the suits because a year ago I was in Las Vegas, Nevada, in Henderson with Cape Wonder with Jim Bowers, and we did that amazing photo shoot. And some of the photos I haven't even released yet, but I'm going to give to you so you could pepper this video with them. So
Golly, that's swell. If we
No,
listen, I
nobody
got
uses swell.
well, I use swell. What was it? What is it? You feel comfortable using that word? Oh, I feel like it just kind of comes naturally. Because Jim and I literally just had that conversation like yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you-
I'm bringing swell back. I'm bringing it back, bro.
See, I'm hydrating too. Water.
See, hydrate, America, and around the world, hydrate.
Well, some of the other cool things I have that are not so big that I could show you guys.
Bring it.
This is really cool. This is one of the original press from one of the season 2 original press kits, an 8x10 photo of John Hames Newton.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And the suits were so good too. Like, you know, like they were they were legit, like really like.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's so many people who make very good suits these days. You know, like even my costumer makes awesome suits, but those were like movie quality suits. I mean, you know, because you have freaking 5 of them.
Right.
But
well, Elia Salkin had Christopher Reeve's suit there in Orlando, Florida, and the costume designers just improved on his suit. So the one for John, they did enhancements on, like the S, the cape. They really went all out to make these suits more, actor friendly. So, but even the capes, like when I received Gerard's capes, like just how heavy they are, and you're in the Florida heat. Like I have like a ton of respect for these guys. Like you're out in the Florida heat, it's hotter than hell, and you're wearing a wool cape and you're sweating. And it's so funny because Gerard would say, Sam, like you had to train your body not to sweat. Like you had to like condition your body not to sweat, and they had fans like blowing like all the time, the hand fans under the armpits all over, just trying to keep their body cool so they didn't ruin the suits. So
yeah, you can't have sweat marks on a suit.
Right. Well, this is really cool. This was from the props gentleman who worked on the series. He found these in his garage, which are really cool.
Crazy.
This first one is from Out of Luck in season 4, this newspaper.
Nice.
Isn't that cool? And then this one is from one of my personal favorites from the Kryptonite Kid episode with Jay Underwood from A Boy Who Could Fly.
Yeah.
So this is really cool.
And look at that. You know what? And you got to give them credit. Kryptonightmare. That is some title.
Yeah. Right. It's just so cool. But you know what? You got to give the comic book writers like Mike Carlin, Fred Freiberger, Andy Helfer, Carrie Bates, Mark Jones a lot of credit. These guys were brought in, and they did a lot of first on the show. They brought in a lot of the villains from the comic books, like Mr. Mixus-Pitalik, played by the late Michael J. Collier, which was amazing.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Sherman Howard, who is a great character actor. I mean, he really took Lex Luthor to a new place, like a really sinister place. He wrote a number of episodes. One of my favorites was Mindscape, when Superboy and Lex are trapped in the lead mine and they have a heart-to-heart. Like, that was one of my favorite episodes of the entire show. I mean, Road's Not Taken, that two-parter is probably one of the best two-parter episodes in Superman on film, honestly. Like, those two episodes, like, introduced the multiverse. Like, Superboy doesn't get enough credit for that. So
You're right. You're very right. Actually, you know what I want to do at the end of this, bro? And I'm going to put a list of it. I'm going to ask you if you could do, like, your top, like, 5 episodes. Because I want to put them for people who have the uninitiated to Superboy, because Superboy episodes are available on DC Universe, the app, which God knows where it's going, if it's still going to be around in a year. But the episodes are there. So
yes,
I at least want, because the last guy who came on, fantastic, huge Green Lantern fan. He actually brought he gave a list of potential, like, books for people to read that don't involve Ryan Reynolds in a craptastic Green Lantern movie. So,
hey, I like Green Lantern First Flight. I thought that was an amazing. They should have adapted that as the movie. That was really good.
They should have adapted anything but that story.
But that, yes.
So, but I'd like, because I do have people reach out and they're like, that was really awesome, and I'd like to learn more. So at the end of the episode somewhere, we'll put in a couple of the
definitely
Sam's recommended list.
Definitely, most definitely.
So, all right. So what else? You got anything else there, or are we? Are we?
You know what?
I mean, you have everything. So.
Well, you know what? Of late, I've been working with my good buddy John Fent on producing original posters, because again, like I said, there was no posters of, like, Bizarro. There was no, like, posters of Superboy. I mean, they had a great poster of Superboy up in the dorm, in Clark and Andy's dorm, of Superboy with his hands on his hips, that never got reproduced for consumers. There was nothing of the show. There was never, like, a Bizarro bust, nothing. So, you know what? I've been working with my good buddy John Fent, who a good friend of ours.
Does good stuff.
He's a very professional guy, very professional artist. So I said to him, it was the 30th anniversary of seasons 2, 3, and 4, and I said to him, I'm like, I really think we should do, like, a poster, and it'd be really cool if we had all the characters on it. Yeah. So, I was talking to a couple artists, so I said to John, see what you can do. So he produced this poster in 10 days flat. Like, he came back with it, and I was just like, my jaw dropped. It was so cool. So here it is, and I have a couple signatures on it. So yeah, he plugged away at this thing.
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's awesome. That's everybody.
Yeah, pretty much everybody.
Great. Yeah, man. John does some great work. And I love that he's a huge Crow fan, too.
Yeah. But it's just...
Good movie.
Yeah. Well, it's just so cool. I mean, like, I just said to him, hey, I kind of want, like, the Bob Peak vibe and kind of like the old Star Trek.
Yeah, right.
Like, poster vibe. And he just came back with this, and he just has that eye for what, somebody wants in a poster, like the old school posters. And he just nailed the retro look. It was so cool. We worked on a couple more, which, are up on my Instagram, and we just did 2 more recently that I'm going to unveil very soon. And they are just, nice. I can't wait to show you guys. It's just so cool. And I love creating original stuff with him and saying, hey, you know what? This would be really cool if we did something like this. And he's been a big contributor on the new website, superboylegacy.com. And the podcast, Superboy Legacy, which is up on SoundCloud and YouTube right now. And I'm working on iTunes, everybody. I know everybody's been saying, like, you got to get on iTunes. Yeah, we're going to get on iTunes, so just bear with us.
Good man. So, Sam, I'm going to ask you the question that I've asked 2 other people, 3 including myself. If you had one shelf in your house, room, wherever, office, and you were only allowed to put 3 items on it of your Superboy collection. It doesn't matter sizes, whatever. What would they be?
Jeez. Okay. Well, out of sentimentality, I would have to say my Bizarro bust that I received about 10 years ago from Profiles in History. I won it on my birthday on December 17th. And it was so funny because I put the bid in and I won it for like $700. Nobody knew what it was. So I hit up Rob Berman, the makeup artist, who worked on the Superboy series. He's gone on, and he's a famous, world renowned makeup artist in the television and film business,
Right.
and designed Bizarro. So I sent him the photos from the auction. He's like, Sam, yeah, I worked on it. So it was so cool to get
That's awesome.
the confirmation from him,
Yep.
because Profiles in History had no idea what it was. They thought it was from Lois and Clark. It came with the tag. I have the original tag from the auction that said Lois and Clark Bizarro mask. Like, no, it's not from Lois and Clark. So yeah, that is literally on my shelf right now. So that's
Okay.
one thing that I love. That's and it was the first thing I ever saw from the show. So
Yeah,
you
that
know,
was your first
to
image.
have,
Absolutely, I get it.
yeah, that was, so it's very sentimental to me. The other thing that's up on my shelf, my figurative shelf,
The figure.
is my 1989 Superpower Superman action figure, because that was the first action figure I ever received,
Wow.
as a kid, and it was something
Mhm.
from my father,
Mhm.
and my dad was the one that started me in all this stuff. So if it wasn't for my dad turning the television on in '89, I wouldn't be in the Superman world or the Superboy world right now. So I have a lot to owe
Way
to
to
my
go,
dad.
Mr. Rizzo. Very good.
Yeah.
So now the Superman, the Superpowers one, that's the one with the kryptonite ring and the magnet that was in the chest. That one.
Yes. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where the figure is for the life of me, but I do have I still have the ring.
I couldn't tell you how many of those I've had over the years. Just like, I'm like a perfectionist when it comes to my collection. The box has to be mint. I have one out in the open, and then I have 2 or 3 that I put away. So,
Awesome. Awesome.
it's crazy. But so my third thing, I have one more thing, right?
You have
So 3 things. So my third thing that I would probably put up on the shelf would probably be, if it was a big enough shelf, the Gerard Christopher production chair. Like, if I could get that up on the shelf or mount it on the shelf.
Well, it's a figurative shelf, so you could have
Okay.
you could put Gerard Christopher on the shelf if you really felt that he would be okay with sitting on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could cryogenically freeze him to the chair. That'd be so
Why
fun.
not? What the hell? Sure.
But yeah, that chair means a lot to me because he was my hero growing up. That was my Superman growing up, or Superboy growing up. I mean, he was 31, 32 when he played the role in '89, so he
really?
was on the older side. But I mean, even now, doing conventions now, he still looks like he's in his 40s. The guy is perfectly preserved. He still could play Superman.
Sam,
if
the
you
thing
ask me.
is that Kryptonians age slower than regular humans.
Right.
So Gerard,
They do.
is just,
They do.
He's just he's gonna live to be 1,000. It's fine.
But I mean, he could totally pull off the role again if given the chance. Totally. So,
It's awesome.
but yeah, that would be my third thing. And I think, in all honesty, I think myself owning Gerard's production chair, and again Jim Bowers owning Christopher Reeve's production chair, I think we are the only two collectors that I know of that own production chairs of their heroes growing up. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you would know better than I in that field, but it's neat. And I saw the pictures, because again, you had the photo shoot, like you said. It was neat that you and Jim took pictures side by side of the 2 production chairs.
Oh, you know what? It was so, when he brought the Christopher Reeve chair out, and I think I got it on video on my Facebook Live, on Superboy Legacy Facebook Live page. You could go see the video when he's taking the chair out and we put the chairs together. It was so crazy because it was just like Christopher Reeve meet Gerard Christopher. It was like the passing of the baton of
100%.
Of capes. It was so cool, and to take pictures alongside those 2 almost relics in a way, like, it was just so cool.
Pieces of DC history. I'll say.
Definitely.
I'll say it's.
Definitely.
I'll say that it's definitely, like you said, passing the baton is probably a pretty good way to put that.
When it was surreal for me to get those costumes in the mail and to open the boxes and to take the capes out, and I just started to well up. There's a picture of me holding both capes like this, and it was just like, it's almost like you said, like historic garment. Like it's
Yeah,
just my hands shook just from holding that stuff because that is something from my childhood that I'll never forget. You know,
yeah,
I
man.
love that series, and to be on the be one of the driving forces to get the show back out there for people that have never seen it is
Dude, that's
just it's
huge.
gratifying.
It's
Yeah.
huge. And I know there's a lot of people around the world who would definitely appreciate the efforts, the superhuman efforts, if you will, that you've gone through to get this back to the light of day, you know?
Yeah.
And it's because of, I mean, Superboy obviously existed before the show, but I mean, there's been so many other incarnations now of Superboy, since,
Right.
you know, that in the comics and everything, and even now the Titans show,
Yeah.
it's good to see that he's getting they're getting their due, that Newton
Right.
and Christopher are getting their due, as you know.
Right. Well, here's hoping that Gerard or Stacy or John Newton show up on Superman and Lois that's coming out next year. So that'd be really cool.
Yes, that's true.
Let's do
That's true. I forgot about
let's
that. It'd be nice to see some of the alumni show up.
yeah, let's do
But
some legacy casting. That'd be so cool if they showed up.
we'll throw it out there and see what the hell happens.
I'm just throwing it out there into the ether. So come on, DC. You know you're gonna see this. You guys see everything from Superboy Legacy and now On the Shelf. You guys gotta pay attention to On the Shelf over here.
Seriously, wake up.
So
Listen, Sam, I want to thank you again for coming on the show. Um, it's always nice meeting people who are very passionate about their collections, about part of their life. So, anybody watching, everybody watching, I'm gonna post the links to everything. Follow them, watch them, listen to them. It's worth the time. And thank you for watching. And episode 5 will be next with a certain Bat fan. Sam, thanks again, and
Michael, thank you. Thank you.
have a good night.